Hello everyone, David here, back again to review the mid-season finale for Season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So after this, no more S.H.I.E.L.D. until March. We're getting around that sweet, sweet moment of the year where we have to take a break from all the shows that we're watching and catch up on some new shows. Hopefully this is my opportunity to catch up on Jessica Jones and give you guys a review for that. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. takes its mid-season break with this finale that I thought was great. In fact, continuing what I mentioned in last week's review, this sincerely felt like a part 2 to last week's part 1, even though it was kind of unofficially split. I mean, it wasn't officially split because they didn't say, oh, this is so-and-so part 1 and then this is so-and-so part 2. They're legitimately 2 episodes, so you will never be caught, you will never see them be shown back to back in some kind of I guess this is, officially the true definitive mid-season finale. So let me go ahead and just get the bad stuff out of the way, which is probably my only actual complaint about the episode, but it is a legitimate complaint and not so much a nitpick nonetheless. And that is pretty much most, not all of it, but most of the material with Mac, May, Daisy, these S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that has been kind of fused with the Secret Warriors to infiltrate this castle and take down Hydra so that they're able to open up the portal and welcome Fitz and Fitz, Coulson, and hopefully Will back through it and pull off the mission in a success. Even though I'm saying that this was the weakest part of the episode, it was still good. The only major disappointment, however, would have to be with the Inhumans themselves. With Daisy being the only exception of her being able to knock out a couple of dudes and be able to hold the portal open herself, and seeing her be in danger because of that, because obviously she forgot about how the tremors can actually affect her from the inside, and she starts having nosebleeds and she starts to pass out and all that. With her being the only exception, seeing Joey and Lincoln be somewhat kind of wasted in this episode because there was so much other stuff going on in that other dimension, in that other planet, was a little bit of a disappointment, especially when you actually see Lincoln and Joey go up against Kiera, which is the guy that's able to control things with his mind. Apparently it's not just metal, he can also control other things, but for the most part metal. Seeing Lincoln take him out with just one bolt, I was legitimately disappointed. I felt like that was a little bit of a smack in the face for what I was hoping this team to pull off, and then they're kind of wasted. I mean, we don't even see some of these people do the things that they do. We have Bobby pull out her batons and be like, okay, I'll be right back, and you just see her punches off screen, and then you have Lincoln turn off the lights off screen again, and you just see the lights go off, and then later on in his big confrontation with Guerra, he's just like, dude goes out. This guy was being built up as being that secondary boss, just like I mentioned in last week's episode, and he goes out with one hit. And the biggest thing that we see Joey do is the fact that if he concentrates hard enough, he's bulletproof. He's able to melt off the bullets. And for a second there, I did get kind of scared that, oh, they're now going to kill off Joey and just waste them. I'm glad that he made it out of this episode alive, but slightly disappointed that him, along with Lincoln and combined with the rest of the team, just didn't. It felt just a little underwhelming for what they were being built up. Unfortunately, that is it for any actual complaints I had with the episode. Everything else that happened in the other side of the portal on this desolate planet was very exciting. Even during some of the slower parts where we just had characters walking, whether it be Ward or Fitz, or with Will when he encounters him, and Coulson trying to track them down and having his little visions of Rosalind. That was still very nice. It was nice. I like it when done well, of course. I like it when shows are able to bring back a character that was killed off, but in a way that doesn't contradict how effective that death was. Like here, you got Rosalind in a brief little snippet of Coulson's imagination of being in bed with her, waking up to seeing her face. It's something that all of us always desire to, waking up to see the face of the woman that we love, or the person that we love. And that's always one of the best moments in life. And so to have Coulson imagining this, or maybe remembering this, after all, they did spend the night together, remembering this the day or so after seeing her die and bleed out in his hands, was very effective. And like I said, despite being a little bit slower, not as exhilarating, like, oh my god, we're doing this covert operation to extract our team and all that, it was still very effective, and also very not only emotionally charged, but also very thrilling, because even though nothing was going on, I felt like every second that we spent on this planet, something can just happen. Something, at any right turn, something is just going to happen. And oh boy, did it. Not only does Coulson manage to actually catch up to Ward and hold him prisoner for the time being, which kind of worried me, but we get what, in my opinion, is one of the best twists that I've seen. Not so much television. I've seen a couple of better ones, but within S.H.I.E.L.D. itself, it really grabbed me, and I thought it was executed very well. The big twist, Will, in fact, did get killed off in that episode that we spent with Gemma on this planet at the very end. And this was actually the thing, death, as they call it. This was the thing that Will, as well as the rest of those astronauts, were fearing, and the very thing that Hydra is actually trying to get back. And that was a great twist with imagery that really sunk into my head, seeing that bone pop out and seeing the fact that it's not really effective. Like, even Fitz himself knew that the bone, this entire portion of flesh is missing from his leg, and he's barely like wincing. He's barely feeling it, and that's what tipped off Fitz. Like, this is not Will. And so having us led to believe that Will was alive this whole time, while at the same time finding a very solid resolution to this potential love triangle. Because at first I'm like, okay, I like the fact that Fitz and Will are getting along, but of course they're thinking about the moment. They're thinking about, like, okay, right now, priority one is to get back to Earth. Let's just get back to Earth, and then we'll deal with this love triangle between them and Gemma. But to see the revelation that Will did in fact get killed off kind of closes off that love triangle. And of course, the only thing that we're left to wait on is to have Fitz tell Simmons, in what I'm assuming is going to be the mid-season premiere, that Will did in fact get killed off. Chances are we're going to see a scene where Fitz already told her off camera. We're going to see them in the background, without any sound. We're going to see Fitz telling Simmons, and Simmons is just going to break down crying, and then it's mostly going to be about it. But at least there's a proper resolution, and one that I thought was handled very well. And in a way, this kind of serves as the foundation for what I'm going to talk about next, which is that the mid-season finale did what I was hoping it would do. It was setting it up, and I was like, please guys, don't proceed with the episode without doing this, because honestly I felt like it's justified. You have to kill off Ward. You just have to do it. I mean, after killing off Rosalind in last week's episode, and even beforehand, the shit that he just gave to Coulson and to the team, almost killing Fitz and Simmons, and manipulating with May and Daisy's emotions, and just destroying so much, and killing off his parents, and doing all that, and all the development that he's done in between then, going from this generic character in season 1 to this very hateful villain, but a villain that you love to hate. Like, I hated this guy, but I loved to hate him. The way he would treat people, especially in this episode where the way he treats Fitz, and he just like gives him, like, without even thinking about it, just punches him in the face and just pulls him out. He's like, hey, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Just like that smug look on his face. I just loved to hate this guy, but I felt like it was earned that he has to be killed off in the mid-season finale, and they did. Sort of. Sort of. Here's the thing. The actual character of Grant Ward does in fact get killed in the mid-season finale, so I felt like it was I felt like it was appropriate to not just show a photo of him from the episode, but show a photo of him like how his character is represented with the Hydra symbol in the back, but having this very complex tortured look. So I'm like, okay, this is the perfect photo to show in the review. And with that, I felt like this is a good moment in the review to kind of give some retrospective over the character and just show how far he has come in the 2.5 seasons that he has actually been on the show as Grant Ward, and the twists and turns that he has taken, especially in his what me as well as many people perceive to be as the shining moment, him being revealing himself as being a member of Hydra. All right, throughout season 1 or the majority of season 1, we were led to believe that he was just this straight face S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that took things way too seriously, only to find out that he was a legitimate bad guy. And for the most part, we didn't believe it. We even thought that he was going to have some kind of redemptive arc that was just going to pull him right back and be like, oh, okay, that was done and over with. But he stayed a villain to the very end. When Coulson has his little Seven moment, that if you've seen the movie Seven by David Fincher with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, you know what I'm talking about, except there was no box. There was no box to question. But he has this little Seven moment complete with even a little shot of the girl that he was thinking about, and finally puts Ward down by crushing his chest with his robotic hand. Sorry, my voice cracked. I'm so emotional. And he leaves his hand behind as a way of saying, you know what, this is a one-time thing, and I'm putting it behind me. And his only witness is Fitz, so we're definitely going to have some kind of little tension between the two of them. We're probably going to see some kind of conversation between the two of them in the mid-season premiere about what went down there, and should the rest of the team know that Coulson crossed the line of putting a target down rather than taking them into custody, which kind of scared me for a second there. For a second there, having Coulson walk Ward and be like, hey, keep moving, I'm like, dude, just put a bullet in him. Please do not take him prisoner. Please don't have a change of heart. So I'm very satisfied to see that Coulson went that extra mile. And the ramifications of what that decision will have, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that plays out in this back half of Season 3. And I loved what they did with Ward. At first, I was a little hesitant, but honestly, this kind of makes sense because we love what the actor, we love Brett Dalton and what he did with the character and his performance as that tortured soul that found comfort in Hydra, mainly because of his need for a father figure and for his need of acceptance because of just how psychotic he was. I love the fact that they were able to kill off the character, but the actor is still going to stick around because guess what? Death managed, or whatever this thing is, managed to have some kind of John Carpenter's Thing type of influence amongst the show, and he's able to take form of these different people that he probably kills off. Hence Will, and now Ward. Ward, or at least Ward's body, with death inside it, is now reanimated and finds itself back to Earth, where Malik confronts him. And now Malik is going to be able to use him, while at the same time this thing is supposed to be this god, so I'm guessing this thing is going to use Malik in turn, so we'll see how that ends up playing out. But Ward, the character, is now dead, but Ward, the body, continues to be reanimated by this alien thing. So we're going to be seeing at least one, maybe two more episodes of Brett Dalton on the show, just not as the actual Ward character. So I like the fact that they're considering an ultimatum here, killing off the character while at the same time keeping the body around. It's a little weird, but at least it gives Brett Dalton some more work to do. And the only other thing left to wonder is what's going to become of Lash, which I'm very happy to see that this guy was actually set free and will more than likely become our main villain for the second half of Season 3. I think the whole stuff with Ward and Malik is going to be pushed to the side and kind of left in the shadows so that they can bring it back up again in the last 2-3 episodes of the season, so that we have this very big epic finale for that third season to wrap things up with this entire storyline. But I think kicking things off in the remaining 11 episodes, I believe, or 12 episodes, I believe, is going to be this Lash storyline, because he is now back. He's been woken up. Simmons let him out. And sure, this provided Simmons with some safety, but it came at the cost of those Inhumans getting killed off. So what type of effect is this going to have on May? I mean, we actually saw a little bit of it in this episode, where she actually went back for him, only to see that he was gone by that point? And will Simmons feel any kind of remorse about letting Lash out in the first place? That has yet to be seen. So like I said, much like last week's episode, this felt like the conclusion to the part 1 of last week's episode, but it came with those things that need to happen in a mid-season finale to make things feel climactic, including a big death, sort of, as well as some storylines that were wrapped up very nicely without any humongous cop-outs. But my only actual disappointment and complaint with the episode would have to be that I wish these Secret Warriors were more warrior-like instead of accidental happenings. I mean, I understand Joey's little fish out of water type thing, but I really hope it does not last for long, because at a point I kind of wanted Joey to just shut up and get with the program. All right, I feel like he needs a little bit more training and needs to find his little comfort zone, because him not calling his abilities powers, like really, we're gonna go with that? Come on, leave that stuff at the door. We're beyond that point. Nevertheless, because I felt like this felt like a second half to last week's episode that was cut in the editing room and left for to conclude things off in a preceding week, I'm going to give it the same rating as I did last week. So I give Maveth, or however you pronounce it, a low 9 out of 10. A very satisfying finale that I think should show other shows, Walking Dead, how to leave people satisfied for a couple of months before the show's return. Just saying. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of this week's, or this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D's mid-season finale, and what do you look forward to in the back half of Season 3. You know what I'm expecting? A starfighter. There's no way they could do a Tattooine reference without creating some kind of S.H.I.E.L.D. Star Wars crossover. Disney owns both properties, so it will only make sense. Anyways, see you guys next month. In the meantime, I will definitely be catching up on Agent Carter when that returns. See you guys later.